Hey friends, it's Kelly. I am back again with a new layout for the cut shop, and today I am going to be using the Sweet Talker cut file. I'm going to start the video showing you the photo that I'm going to be using. This is a collage print of my three dogs. Bodhi is on the left, Cooper is on the top right, and Lucy is on the bottom right, and they are all Shih Tzus. And then I'm going to show you a few of the cut apart pieces that I'm going to be using for layers. Those are all from the Amy Tangerine Better Together collection. And here is where I am showing you the cut file. I cut it on white cardstock and I am going to back it on white cardstock. So it's going to have a white on white look. Now this cut file has more of a rectangular shape to it, and I did resize it in Cricut Design Space to 11.5 by 11.5. So it fills the entire background cardstock, which is what I wanted. And this cut file held its shape really well. Sometimes when you take a rectangular cut file and you try to modify it into a square, it loses its proportion and becomes a little wonky looking. But this one really held its shape. It looked really great when it cut, and I was really happy with how it turned out. So now I'm just working on getting the layers arranged that I'm going to use behind my photo. I wanted this layout to be really bright and really colorful, and I wanted the cut file to have more of a subtle look in the background. And using a white cut file on white cardstock is definitely going to give you that look. It adds so much texture to the layout, and I just love, love, love how it looks. It's a little hard to see it on camera just because of my lighting, but when you see it in person, you just can see all the texture. I will add some stitching through the cut file also, which will add a little bit more texture, but that's a little later on in the video. I also knew right from the beginning of this layout that I wanted to add some mixed media to the background just to add a little bit more color. And I wanted to use a yellow shimmer spray for my mixed media, but I didn't have any yellow in the layers behind the photo. So that's why I'm bringing in this yellow piece just to add a touch of yellow. So it helps the mixed media look like it matches a little bit better. It just kind of flows with the color scheme, having a little bit of yellow mixed in with the layers behind my photo. I knew that I wanted to use a little bit of pink with the mixed media also, so I'm going through my stash to try to find a pink that matches the pink in the layers behind my photo. So I'm just using a scrap piece of white cardstock to test those out to see which color is going to work best. Both of these products that I'm trying here are from Shimmers, and neither one of those match as well as I would like it to. So I end up going into my Heidi Swapp Color Shine stash and finding a color there. My title is going to be Better Together, and I am using some Amy Tan thickers to create that title. Now I am going to move on to getting that mixed media applied to the background. I used my pencil to make marks on the background so I knew where my photo was going to be positioned. So I had the mixed media peeking out and positioned in the right areas on the background. That yellow that I'm using is my go-to color. I use it on a lot of my layouts, and it is from Shimmers. It is no yoking, and I believe it's a colorings, and I'm just using the packaging technique, just spraying the color onto the packaging and then just smushing it onto the paper. I'm going to keep bringing my photo and the layers back in just to make sure that I have the color peeking out in the right areas and that it is evenly distributed around the layers. And I didn't use any primer or gesso on the cardstock before I started applying the mixed media, and I didn't have any warping of the cardstock. It stayed laying flat the entire time that I was working with it. Sometimes if you use a lot of water or a lot of mist or a lot of mixed media, the paper will start to warp a little bit. But for me, that's never really been too much of an issue. If it does warp, I just lay a heavy book on top of it or just kind of flatten out the edges by holding them down with heavier objects, and it will flatten right back out. So now I'm starting to bring in the pink color, and my nozzle wasn't working, it was clogged, so that's why I'm applying the color to the packaging that way. I do add a little bit of water to that Heidi Swapp Color Shine. I found that the Color Shine has a little bit thicker consistency than the Shimmers Mist, so I just wanted it to kind of flow across the page just like the Shimmers products did, so that is why I added the water. And I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I am going to add just a little bit more pink in that bottom right hand corner just to make the color look a little bit more even on the background. Okay, so while I'm wrapping up the mixed media portion of this layout, I am just going to give you a little bit of information about the photo that I'm using. As I mentioned at the beginning, this photo is of our dogs, and they are just like our children. We love them like they are our kids. We treat them like they are kids. And they are just a very important part of our family. And my husband had wanted to get family pictures taken with them for I don't even know how long, a long, long time. And it just so happened that my sister had started a photography business, and she came to our area, so it was convenient for us to take the dogs with us to get our pictures taken. So we included them in our family photo shoot, and the photos turned out so great. I'm so happy with how they turned out. My sister is amazingly talented and has such a great eye for photography, and she took these 3 pictures of the dogs on their own. We have multiple photos where they're with us, but I just loved these pictures of them. So I collaged them together in PicMonkey. I wanted to create one layout with all 3 of them on the layout because they really are better together. They are amazing together. They've always gotten along. The boys we got right after we got married, and they are litter mates. And Lucy we got a year later, and she has the same parents. So they're all from the same breeder, and they have just completed our family in a way that we just never would have imagined. We absolutely love them, and I am so grateful to have these photos of them. All right, so let's start talking about what I am doing with the layout. I showed you that I added the stitching through the cut file, and I also added my journaling using my We Are Memory Keepers typecast typewriter. And now I'm going to start bringing in the embellishments, and I use a lot of Amy Tan products from a wide variety of her collections. This clear sticker I used from one of the sticker sheet books, and I cut it in half so that way I could have it along the left edge of the photo and then also underneath the photo, just to make it look like one large sticker. Now I am using a transparent sticker from one of her other collections, and I've just put it onto a piece of white cardstock and then fussy cut it out just so that way it would stand off the page a little bit more. Now I am bringing in a brad that says woof, and that has been in my collection for a long time. I think the manufacturer name on it is Daisy. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm going to add that right next to that dog sticker. And I apologize that I'm getting a little bit off camera as I am adding that. Next, I'm going to go back to that same sticker sheet that I got the dog sticker from, and I'm just going to add some more little layers next to the photo just for a little added interest. And again, I'm going to trim that sticker in half to make it appear a little bit larger than what it actually is. Then I'm going to go through the sticker book again just to try to find little odds and ends to add to the layout. I do add a couple of the stickers to the top edge of the layers that I have by the photo. As I was going through that sticker book, I came across a sticker that says My Happy, but it was a fairly large sticker, but I knew that I wanted to use it because it had the bright pink and the pops of green that I have going on in the layout. So I decided to add it right underneath that Better Together, so it almost acts as a subtitle on the layout. So I want to add just a few more embellishments to the layout, so I bring in these buttons from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans Fancy Free collection, and I think I'm also going to use these black hearts, which I believe are from Simple Stories. I did add a sticker from the same sticker sheet right next to that brad that I have on the layout. I'm going to go ahead and get these buttons adhered down using liquid adhesive, and I will come in with some embroidery floss off camera just to add some stitching through the buttonholes. After I have those buttons down, I decide that I don't like the black hearts, so I take those off the layout, and then I'm going to bring in these heart enamel shapes from Amy Tangerine also, and I add one next to each button. And that pretty much wraps it up. Once I have those down, the layout is complete. I'm just going to bring it a little bit closer to the camera so you can see it in a little bit more detail. And I am going to bring in some still shots. Remember to head over to the cut shop to check out all of the cut files and digital collections that are available. I will be back again very soon with another layout and another process video. Thank you so much for watching.